Sherpee. Originating in ancient Tibetan hieroglyphics, the word describes... it's someone who gets carried to the lighthouse. My name's Ben. I'm a casual gamer with 100, give or take 4,400 hours invested in Destiny, and I've learned a thing or 10 about how to get to one of Destiny's most elusive destinations. In this video, I'll share some do's and some don'ts that some people may not be aware of. My hope is that I'll see you in the Lighthouse one of these weekends, or before Destiny 2 comes out. Those of you that have been here since year 1 may have noticed that the Crucible has changed a great deal lately, so playstyles that may have worked back then are no longer viable now. In this video, I'll focus more on aspects of fireteam dynamics and year 3 strats that go largely ignored by many gamers. Just a disclaimer, some of these may be obvious to you, but there are people out there that don't have too much time to spend on Destiny. They got kids to feed. They have linked profiles, and the power to do their own taxes. So if any of this is obvious, we get it. You're good. Nerd. Every point I make will be illustrated using footage from the Trials of Osiris, and I'll also upload some unlisted videos in a playlist maybe that will demonstrate them as well, because A, I want to keep this video short, people have very short attention spans, and B, I'm going to go watch Doctor Strange, so yeah. Without further ado, skis. Number 1. Optimized build setups. In this first clip, we're up against 3 pre-patch Sunsingers with Viking Funeral and Firebolt combos, and not to mention, Doctrine of Passings, so understand that there is no code of conduct in the Trials of Osiris. Use the deadliest build setup you can, because you can be certain that the opposing team will be doing the same. In some cases, you can end an entire round with a properly placed grenade, so don't opt for the weaker option because of habit or based off how useful it is in PvE. An example that comes to mind is the use of solar grenades on Sunsingers, instead of fusion grenades or firebolts, as if people are dumb enough to try and revive teammates while getting cooked by a stationary grenade. It's a deterrent, Ben. You're being unreasonable. You know what else is a deterrent? Death by fusion grenades and firebolts. But this logic isn't limited to just grenades. There are a lot of underused talents on subclasses that can make or break a Trials run, like invisibility for hunters. This for some reason is highly frowned upon in the Destiny community, despite the fact that a warlock with the ram helmet, the right subclass talents, armor, and artifact can have plus 13 armor. Or how about sticky grenades that can perform 3-point turns? Or melees that can reach you outside shotgun range? Or a nearly indestructible shield that can form via sprinting. I mean, come on. Not to mention the millions that use shotguns to rush you like Thrall. And this is not just in Trials. I can't go in the Crucible without having Dark Beyond flashbacks, for God's sake. So if you have some misguided sense of honor that makes you think that one build is scummier than another, shed it quickly. Don't get peer pressured out of optimizing your build. Do it. Do you, my friend. And then do them. Okay, that sounded weird immediately. Quickly changing subject. Number 2. First picks. Trials, when boiled down to its basics, is a game type determined by the first pick. After surveying 10 full Trials cards with teammates of various skill levels, I found that the team that got the first pick won almost 80% of the time. This means that if your team manages to get the first kill, you are more likely to win the round. The only way the opposing team will win the round is if you let them get the revive. For the Sherpee, a callout announcing your team's got the first pick should be a beacon. This means breaking any engagement you're involved in to relocate yourself in such a way that reviving the fallen guardian becomes impossible for the opposing team. If a fellow teammate has already secured the orb, your job is to secure a second angle until you and your fire team decide on the next course of action. Now, to avoid giving up the numbers advantage and to prevent upsets caused by supers, it is important to keep the next item on the list in mind. That is group positional awareness. If you find yourself the last guardian standing often, that is a sign that you're straying too far from your teammates. You should probably consider keeping them in sight. If you find yourself sharing grenade damage with your teammates, or worse, supers, that is a sign that you're lingering too close to your teammates, and you should probably consider getting a different angle or perspective on that area that you are pushing. Group positional awareness is simply being conscious of where your teammates are at all times. A good way to improve this is to call out where you're going at the start of a round. I do this a lot. This tells my teammates which lanes or sight lines I'll be securing, because I'm basically functioning as an extension of the motion sensor, and they're returning the favor. If you're ever unsure of where to go at the start of a game, pick the shortest route to an engagement. There's a shortest route to first engagement on every map. It's pretty intuitive. I tend to explore one of these routes on the first round to gauge my opponent's skill level and their modus operandi. Regardless of which route I take, the goal is to pinpoint the opposing team members as quickly as possible and update my teammates on their changing positions. This conveniently brings us to the next item on the list, number 4. Proactive callouts. This is probably the second most consistent cause of losses in the Trials of Osiris. Callouts are supposed to be mostly proactive. By that I mean they're constant updates of the enemy position while you're not in danger. They're supposed to make gunfights easier by allowing 2 or more teammates to team shot a lesser number of opponents. Occasionally, yes, if you cross a sniper lane without checking and find that your face has fallen off, your callout can become reactive. That's fine, but under no circumstance should you hold your breath while initiating an engagement. Here's an example with my buddy Cap. I love you buddy, but I gotta use this. His favorite callout is,
I'm gonna die.
And Fireteam kinda just has to figure the rest out. Oh, and fun fact, when your teammates are engaging an opponent, an exclamation point will replace the light level over their character model. It can be very useful for both Sherpees and Sherpas, actually. Again, I understand that it can't always be helped. You challenge a sightline without checking, and you get picked. Should you check your corners always? Yes. Did I check mine in this clip? No. I get picked first, then very calmly start calling out enemy positions for my teammates. In 3v2 scenarios in the enemy's favor, I go so far as to call out enemy intentions. Here's a good example. Oh, I suck. I'm gonna be up for res in a sec. You can pick me up safely. Watch out, they're gonna push my body. They have super. Pop super on my ult right now. Wait, how did? Oh.
Behind me.
How did he pop tether?
Take this moment in.
Number 5. Predictive counter-strats. A strat I'm sure many of you know is the course of action you and your team can execute to win the round. A predictive counter-strat then is just the play you and your teammates make to shut down the enemy's strat. In the first round of a Trials of Osiris game, you can predict how your opponents will play based off a quick peek of their special weapon slots while in orbit. Sometimes this will let you predict the pace of the first few rounds. It does so in this clip, where I note a Juggernaut shotgunner pre-game. Take note of my sightline priority. As far as expected playstyles go, at the extremes are shotgunners and snipers. Shotgunners in general are overly aggressive, meaning that they'll take the shortest route from their spawn to yours, or the objective. Snipers you can expect to play assertively, meaning that they'll move quickly to secure a sightline and stay there until first pick. In the middle are guardians that wield fusion rifles and sidearms. During engagements, they'll either be baiting corners, in the case of fusion rifles, or jumping a lot, in the case of sidearmers. I would talk about how to predict enemy action based on primary weapon selections, but we are in year 3, so why bother? In the later rounds of a Trials game, you can more often than not predict enemy action based on a previously lost round. This is because if a strat works, the average team will stick to it. Here's a good example.
He's on top of the middle tunnel, I'm guessing.
Oh, there's one in pipe. Oh no, there's one in C. Watch out, there's one to your right, guys. Oh, another one just pounced on you. Nice. Oh, where did he come from?
No. The guy from up there killed
Your
me.
team was
They sent one to C, they sent one pipe, and the last one stayed on their sniper lane. So let's push all the way toward A.
Alright. I'm gonna push under train.
The match is tied.
Yeah, they didn't push this side. Push all the way, all the way.
There's a guy on me.
One's one shot on pipe, one's another. I got the other one.
I'm super weak.
I got nades on him. Fall back, fall back. Ooh. That counter strat, no.
Yep.
Enemy team
Counter.
eliminated.
Alright, and that concludes the first part of the Sherpee's Guide to the Lighthouse. In the next video, I'm going to get into countering shotguns, target prioritization, proper pinching, and 2 other things that escape my mind at the moment. That video should be up tomorrow. So until then, God bless and deuces.